advice. Angie, you're the prettiest by far, so we're gonna start with you.
Angie Kreiner, Dorothy, I'm just got last name there. Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. I've been involved with Stream now, 9 years. It's been pretty life-changing for me. The biggest key I can give you is just plug it into events and remember this is your journey, not anybody else's journey. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. But how bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want it? Because it's up to you. That's a game changer up there. I mean, when we got started, that money wasn't on the table. It's there now. And you'll see a lot of executive directors kind of doing a lot more now to get up on that board. So I'm always here to help anybody. So I'm just telling y'all.
Yeah, give it up.
Hello everybody, my name is Jason Bias. I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Went to school right here at Central Dauphin High School. About 5 years ago, coming up on 5 years here, October 1st, I joined this company. I can tell you, 2 years before I joined, I got a call from the top earner at Dallas, wanting to share this idea with me. And when I found out it was network marketing, I said, no way. I had a wife that got into 2 product-based businesses, and she rang up a good bill, about $5 grand, and I remember what that felt like paying back, and I always said I'd never get involved in one of these. Well, I happened to actually take the time to look at the information when somebody wouldn't stop inviting me, and I showed up and looked at it, and I said, you know, this just might work. I've never seen anything like it, and I got involved mainly just to get free energy. I thought that was worth it right there. And that was my first goal. Went in and got those 15 customers, got that free energy, and then I asked my mentor, Brian Webb, I said, hey, what should I do now? He said, go out and share it with people, and I did, and here I am today. This is all I do. I wake up and I want to wake up, and you know, it's funny, I live right here in Lincolnstown. For those of you that know what Lincolnstown traffic is, each morning I laugh each morning when I take my son to school, because I get to go back and go to bed while they're all, you know, chasing and flying around and stuff. So it's been totally life-changing. The business is awesome, and the people in it are amazing, and you'll find that as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
I'm Kenny Kramer, and I currently live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina because of Stream. I'm originally from Mechanicsburg, went to Conner Valley High School. And,
We're better than them.
But, you know, real quick, this business has been so phenomenal for my family. My son's in the business with me, and my daughters, and I raised them myself. And it just gave me my time back to spend time with them. I moved to Myrtle Beach. Last 2 years, I moved my mother down. She's 78. Okay, I thought it was going to be a 3-month process. It ended up being 2 years because she has a lot of stuff. I thought my head was going to explode, but I love her dearly. But you know, the neat thing is, I've really been disengaged, but I got a check every month after month after month for this great company Stream. So now, with all the new stuff, the things you're going to hear tonight, with the new slide you saw there, I'm re-engaged, and it's time to giddy up because all of them are in their place, and it's time for me to hit the road and change a lot of other people's lives too, like it's changed mine. So it's great to be here, and come to Myrtle Beach anytime. I'll have a beer with you.
Well, I thought I'd be remiss if I didn't let those guys say something, so I'm glad. I'm gonna go through quite a bit of stuff, but I gotta do it fast because we want to hear from Steve Fisher. I do want to share some stuff with you. I did get to play some golf this afternoon. Andrew and I, believe it or not, Andrew and I, Moyer, were playing Larry Jones and Steve, and we played 18 holes of golf and ended up in a tie. So nobody won a bet or anything. Yeah, I'm calling Larry Jones the machine. I mean, he's just like winding him up watching go. He just hits that golf ball. Just hits that golf ball. But I appreciate you having me, Andrew. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to go through some stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about 3 minutes about who I am for the new folks, and then I'm going to talk about what I think it takes to be successful. Whether you want to use that for other things in life, that's great. I'm going to tailor it, obviously, towards Stream, because Stream's been what changed my life. But I'm a high school basketball coach by trade. I coached for 16 years. I did not win state championships like Coach did over here. I had some good teams, won a few more than I lost, but I loved it. I kept thinking that the Mavericks, Lakers, or Sixers were going to call me, but it just never happened. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do to change my financial picture. I didn't know what I was going to do. A friend of mine showed me this deal, and went over all that stuff that Jen went over, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I couldn't have explained that if my life had depended on it when I saw it the first time. I didn't understand all that RD, MD, SD, and do this, and levels, and all that. You know, I had one thought. I'm a simple-minded guy. I had one thought. I thought, you know, this might work. I mean, that was really all that was going through my mind was, this might work. So I wasted $200 on a lot worse stuff. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna give this thing a shot. I'm gonna see what I can do with this thing. I had to go to make $1,000 a month. I thought, well, if I could make $1,000 a month, it'd help me pay some credit card bills down. Jeannie and I run up credit card bills, and we were struggling financially, and I thought, man, if I could just get this thing making $1,000 a month, it would help me. Took me 6 months, but I finally went to the mailbox, pulled an envelope out, tore it open, pulled that check out, and there was a comma. I have never been as excited to see a comma in my whole life as to have a residual check with my name on it and a comma in there. I remember calling Steve Fisher screaming that I got a comma. You know, it was the most exciting day of this old boy's life up to that point in time. So, you know, but I used to go to church with a man named Zig Ziglar. Zig would always tell us, he'd say, go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you're going to be able to see further. Well, Zig was right. When we got it to 1,000 a month, I could see 3,000. We got it to 3,000 a month, I could see 5. Got it to 5 a month, I could see 10 and 20. And I don't say it bragging, and I certainly can't promise anybody in here anything, but because of this business, I have been blessed to make millions of dollars. And guys, I'm telling you, we got a chance to do the same thing. Again, I can't promise that you're going to do that. Everybody understand my disclaimer there, but I'm going to tell you this. I can tell you right now, you got a chance. And if you're like me, all I ever wanted was a chance. Now, that's kind of my background. I grew up dirt poor in southeast Dallas. I had no dad in my life. My mama worked in a sewing factory. I lived in the ghettos. There were 2 murders and a rape within 7 houses of us. They confiscated 500 pounds of marijuana from the house across the street. I saw more drugs and violence as a kid than I ever care to remember. I learned a long time ago I can either get bitter about that or get better, and I decided to get better, okay? I don't know what your circumstances are. I'm sure we got everything under the sun in here. Maybe some of yours are like mine, maybe it's worse than mine. But I'm telling you what, doesn't really matter. You know, I learned a long time ago that we don't get to pick our parents. Did you know that? You just kind of pop out and there's mom and dad looking at you. You know? I mean, that's just the way it is. It ain't like we get to pick them. I'd have kept my mama, but I'd have traded my dad in a heartbeat. I mean, he was a snake, but, you know, at least got 50% of it right there. But we can't pick our parents. So, you know, where we come from is really not up to us. The other thing I figured out in life is that everybody in this room has some dirty laundry. We have all made mistakes. If you say you haven't, I'm going to call you a liar, because we've all made some mistakes in our life. We've all done something in our life where we look back and said, what was I thinking? Well, if we can't really help where we come from, and we've all made some mistakes, we just got to come to the realization that it's really up to us as to what we do or don't do in our life. We do live in America, which is the greatest country on earth in spite of our faults. We're not in the caste system. We can all be, do, and have anything that we set our mind to. I believe that with all my heart because I'm living proof. I grew up and didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, and I've made something out of myself. And I say that, guys, because the only really quality I have, I believe, is that I had a burning desire in my butt to be somebody. And I just kept fighting through the odds to make something happen. And I'm going to tell everybody listening to me right now, you've got greatness inside you. Everybody listening to me right now, you've got greatness inside you. Now, here's the sad part. Most of you will end up going to the grave with that greatness in there, but I hope to help a few people come out and say, I'm going to pull that greatness out, and I'm going to do something, and I'm going to leave a legacy for my family. That would be my wish as I leave here tonight, that I might could just influence a few people in here to understand that you can be, do, and have more in life. Now, I'm going to go over just 5 quick points here, because I think success is a decision that you make. See, success doesn't just happen. I think you have to make a decision that you want to be successful. I think you've got to make a decision if you want to change your life. I'm going to give you 5 points. If you got paper, I'd write them down. If you don't, maybe you can put them on your memo and on your phone and put them in there. Because again, even if you say screaming for me, these apply to anything you do in life. Number 1, you got to make a decision that the buck stops here. Most of my life when I was younger, I kept making excuses, you know.
my excuses were, hey, I'm acting this way because I didn't have a dad. I'm acting this way because I'm from the wrong side of the tracks. I did that because we ain't got no money. I did that because life's bad, life's hard. And I mean, I just had all these excuses I just kept using. You know, nothing changed in my life, and if this old boy decided to look in the mirror and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. You know, if we run around with a victim mentality, like it's not our fault that all this is happening, then we will never be able to accept responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to understand that the buck has to stop with us. We've got to understand that we're in control of our own destiny. Yeah, there's outside forces, absolutely, but I believe we can overcome if we really want to. We've got to quit making the excuses of why we're not accomplishing anything in our life, because you can accomplish things in your life. I'm going to say this, and I want you to repeat after me if you believe it, or if you're going to get into this, I'll say it and I want you to say it. I made my last excuse yesterday.
I made my last excuse yesterday.
Now say it this time like you mean it. I'm going to say it again and you repeat it after I say it. I made my last excuse yesterday.
I made my last excuse yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll live by that, you'll figure out real quick your whole life can change. If you'll quit making excuses why you're not getting it done. See, the great Jedi warrior Yoda, we all know that great Jedi warrior? The great Jedi warrior says there's no such thing as try, there's either do or not do. I'm challenging us to do. I'm challenging us to quit making excuses. I'm challenging us to look in the mirror and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. I'm challenging us to say, starting tonight, the buck stops with me, and I'm not going to make any more excuses. Amen. Number one, make a decision that the buck stops here. Number two, make a decision to grow as a person. Number two, make a decision to grow as a person. You know, being a coach, and I'm sure I guess the same way you're a coach, I had to get a degree before I could coach. So I knew I had to get through college. Well, I'm borrowing money and doing all kinds of stuff, getting through college. But my goal was I wanted the degree. I was on the Just Get Me Out of Here program. Now, I never did tell my team that. I didn't want them looking at it that way. But I was on the Just Get Me Out of Here program because I just wanted that degree so I could start coaching. That's really all I wanted to do. I didn't learn a fraction of what I should have learned. But my life has changed. My attitude on learning has changed. I am now a lifelong learner. And when that started, I got a huge extended family, and I've got one cousin that was successful. I'm talking a huge extended family. I mean, hundreds of cousins, and second cousins, and third cousins. And I got cousins out the wazoo, you know? And I got one of them that made something out of himself. The rest of them are pretty much a bunch of rednecks that wouldn't listen to me, wouldn't try this, wouldn't do anything. But it is what it is. But I went to Manny. And Manny's successful, and I said, Manny, I want to be successful like you. Can you give me some advice? And I remember Manny looking me in the eye and saying, Presley, if you want more, you've got to become more. He said, you don't chase success, you attract success by the person you become. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you the same thing. If you want more, you have to become more. And you got to understand that you don't chase success, you attract success to you by the person you become. That's what you've got to understand. So we need to all grow as a person. You say, well, I don't know how to do that, Presley. I'm not in school anymore. That's all right, I'm not in school anymore either, but I'm still growing. You know what? Even if you're a poor reader like I am, and I'm a slow reader, but we could read a little bit, yes or yes?
Yep.
If I said, could you read 10 pages today, I'm guessing all of us could say, yes. We could take 15 minutes and read us 10 pages, right?
Yes.
Okay. If we read 10 pages out of a good book today, would it change our life? And the chances are, no, probably not. No, I guess it could, but probably not. But what if we read 10 pages again tomorrow? And the next day? And we took 15 minutes the next day? And we read 10 pages the next day? And just for 1 year, we just simply read 10 pages out of a good book. I didn't teach math. 365 times 10 is 3,650. You've read 15 to 20 good books, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not kind of mind-boggling when you think of it that way? Until I kind of got this attitude, I had read 15 books since I got out of school total. Now I read them all the time. The other thing I do, I don't know if you guys have this, but I've got this app on my phone here, and it's called audio books, a little bitty thing right down here that I tap. And I can put books on there. And then I put my little headphones on, and as I'm on an airplane or in a car or mowing or working out or running or doing something like that, I'm listening to books. I've been listening to Good to Great by Jim Collins lately. I've already read it, but I'm listening to it now. Guys, I challenge you to put some good stuff in your head. And you say, well, why do I want to grow as a person, Presley? Here's why. Because you realize your circumstances, wherever you are in life right now, is because of your actions. And you realize your actions are because of your thoughts. So if I want to change where I am in life, it starts by changing my thought process. And the way we get out of this stuff that's in our head, Jeannie would kill me because she hates me to say this yet, but I will say this. We really need a mental enema. We really need to get the junk out of our head. Every time I say that when Jeannie's around, she just slaps me, you know. But we need to get the junk out of there and put some good stuff in there so that our thoughts are different, therefore our actions are different, therefore our circumstances will be different. We need to read a little bit. The other thing is you're driving around in what I call a rolling university. Get that phone and play one of those books. Or put a book on CD in your CD player if you still got a CD player. Just listen to some good stuff as you're driving around instead of that negative news stuff that we get all the time. I'm telling you, there ain't nothing but crap on the news anymore, ladies and gentlemen. They don't put anything positive on there. So I tell you, let's put something good in our head. Do you realize the average American drives 30 minutes a day? So in 5 years, that's 1,250 hours. That's the equivalent of a 4-year college education. If you would just listen 30 minutes a day as you're driving around to some good stuff instead of the negative stuff. Number 3, instead of watching, now this is still part of the growing as a person, okay? I'm still on the grow as a person part, but it's my third point under there. Instead of watching the time-wasting electronic income producer at night, that a lot of people call a TV, you realize the average American watches 6 hours of television a day? Now, I'll say this, social media's snuck in there and took an hour or two of that, but the average American wastes 6 hours a day watching that booth tube. You know, here's my theory on that. I'm simple-minded, but my theory on that is I don't want to watch millionaires having fun on the television. I want to be a millionaire having fun. And I'm going to tell you right now, you ain't going to be a millionaire having fun if you're watching TV all the time. Now, here's what I suggest we do. Understand, I ain't going to adjust my halo and say I don't watch a ball game occasionally, I ain't saying I never turn my TV on, but I'll say this, sometimes I'll go weeks and not turn it on. Every once in a while, Jeannie and I'll watch a movie, or I'll watch a ball game or something, but I tell you what, I don't live in front of that television, ladies and gentlemen, let me set the record straight. But what I suggest we do is watching that thing, and at night, how about let's get our computer or our smartphone, and let's go to YouTube, and how about we watch some Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Joyce Myers, Stephen Covey, Jim Rohn. How about some personal growth giants that can help us learn to change our minds a little bit? Why don't we do that instead of watching whatever we're watching on TV? I challenge you, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a little bit of that instead of watching the time-wasting electronic income producer. My fourth and final point under that one is this. Who do you run with? Who do you run with? I bet you did this too, Coach. At the beginning of the year, I'd call my team together and we'd talk about grades and how to dress and how to act and show respect and do all the stuff you'd think I'd talk to some young men about. But in my talk, I'd always tell them this. I'd look at them and sometimes I'd point my finger at them and say, guys, you show me who you run with, and I'm going to show you who you are or who you're going to be. Because if they ran with the right crowd, chances are they wouldn't get in trouble. Am I right, Coach? Absolutely. So I know if I could keep them with the right group, they wouldn't get in trouble probably. You know what? I don't think we're going to run out here and do something stupid. I don't think we're going to go knock off a convenience store or anything. But I'm going to say this to us. You show me who you run with, and I'm going to show you who you are or who you're going to be. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, if we're running with a bunch of negative, dull, disillusioned, frustrated crybabies, if we're running people that are always blaming somebody else or something else, we're always talking to somebody that sees the glass half empty, if we're always talking about somebody that is always blaming the world why they can't do anything, ladies and gentlemen, if you're running with negative people, it's next to impossible for you to be positive. Next to impossible. I'm challenging you right now to start running with winners. I'm challenging you to run with people that are going somewhere in their life. They may not be successful yet, but they're on the road to success and you know it. We all know winners and we all know losers. Yes or yes? Yeah, we do. You know what? We start spending more time with the winners and less time with the losers. Now, understand, I didn't say get all your friends and family in the room and say, listen, all you losers. I'm not saying we can't do that. I understand that. Some of my high school buddies took me down long roads many times big old Indian named Corky. If Corky came through that door, I'd run and hug his neck, tell him I loved him. But I tell you what, I can't spend time with him because he's going a different direction than I'm going. Still love the guy. Still think about him occasionally. But my success in my life is too important to spend it going down the wrong road with somebody that leads me the wrong way. So I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, start running with the winners. Start finding more time to be with the winners. Start having lunch. Start getting on the phone. Start doing anything you can to be with winners. And because of Stream, you know some winners. Even if you don't in your normal life, because of Stream, you do. Spend time with those people. And when one of the loser buddies call you, just be a little busier. Oh, I'd love to, but I'm busy. Oh, I'd love to go to the bar, but I'm busy. Oh, I'd love to go do that, but I'm busy. We're just a little bit busier when the wrong people call and a little bit freer with our schedule when the right ones call. Guys, we need to read a little bit. We need to listen as we're driving around. We need to watch some YouTube of the personal growth giants instead of the TV, and we need to run with winners. All that falls under number 2, make a decision to grow as a person. Number 3, y'all gotta listen faster. Steve's giving me ugly looks back there. That means hurry. Make a decision to be a person of action. Make a decision to be a person of action. I got a couple of thoughts on that. 1, the very smallest action that you do is better than the very greatest intention that you have. We're all planning on doing all this amazing stuff. We've got to act on it, ladies and gentlemen. You can have the best laid plans, but if you're not doing anything to make them happen, it ain't going to ever get you anywhere in life. The other thing I'll tell you is be careful of this, because we tend to judge other people on their actions and ourselves on what we plan to do. We judge ourselves on our intentions. Oh, I'm going to do all this stuff. But we'll judge everybody else in our life by what they've already done. I challenge you, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get off our butt and do something. You know, if you're wanting to make Stream the business that changes your life, it can be. Absolutely. Lots of people it has. You've heard some testimonies tonight. This can be the thing that changes your life if you want it to be. But you've got to do some stuff. You realize that this isn't a real complicated business. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, I'll tell you that right now. And it didn't take much to look at Kenny to know he ain't. But here's what we got to understand. It doesn't take special ability to be successful in this business. Am I right, Angie? I mean, it doesn't take special ability. It just takes action. You need to make a list of everybody you've ever known in your entire life and write them down. I read the other day that we know 2,000 people on a first-name basis by the time we're 18 years old. And if you think, who did you go to elementary school with, middle school with, high school with, college with, work with, church with, played with, kids' activities, grandkids' activities? We're around a gazillion people. Write them all down. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you don't know who's going to be interested in this business and who's not. The other thing I'll tell you right now is just because somebody looks good and smells good doesn't mean they're not hurting financially. Do you realize there's different levels of broke, ladies and gentlemen? Do you realize you can drive a Yugo and live in a mobile home and be broke? Did you realize you can drive an SL Mercedes and live in that 6,000 square foot house and still be living paycheck to paycheck? When I learned that right there, when I learned that one tidbit, changed my whole business right there, because I was going to the broke Uncle Harry's of the world thinking, boy, they need it, woo, I'm going to go talk to broke Uncle Harry, he needs it bad. If we're truthful, there's a reason that broke Uncle Harry's broke. Broke Uncle Harry doesn't have enough motivation to get in out of the rain. But we think broke Uncle Harry's going to be our best associate. You're wrong, chances are, guys. I won't say there's not a miracle that occurs occasionally, but you very seldom change the leopard spots, huh? You got to understand that you need to be going to people that are getting things done. Now, they don't have to be a success financially, even though they could be. But who's a successful teacher, preacher, coach, YMCA leader, parent-teacher organization leader? Who's somebody that just gets things done? Who's somebody you know that's always going? Who do you know that knows a lot of people? Those are the ones that should be at the top of the list, because those are the ones that can make it happen. The other thing, it always tickles me when they'll go, well, you know, this guy already has some money, or this girl already, she already has some money. And I'm going, oh, really? So that's why Bill Gates didn't make billions. You know, after his first billion, why didn't he just stop? You know, let's see it through. Just because somebody's made some money, they still like to make more money. So just because somebody's successful financially in your life doesn't mean they're not going to be interested in some passive residual income. They could be. The other thing, like my dentist, Brooks Haney, very successful dentist.
very successful, makes lots of money. And Brooks got in, and I looked at Brooks and I said, Brooks, why are you doing this? He said, Presley, because I only make my money if I got my hands in somebody's mouth. You don't know, see, they may make a lot of money, but they may be working 70 hours a week to get that money. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. Write them all on that list and pick up the phone and start going, hey, I got something I want to talk to you about. Can we have a cup of coffee? Hey, I got something I want to run by you. Can we have lunch tomorrow? Hey, I got something I want to get your opinion on. Could you swing by the house after work? Hey, that's all we do in this business. We just want people to take a look. Now I'll give you one, here's a key tip to why I think I'm standing here. I pushed people to look. Now, once they looked, I ain't begging them to get in. But I pushed them to look. And you say, well, if they don't even want to look, why are you showing them, Presley? Because about half the people I've signed up didn't want to look, but once they looked, they decided to get in. So I always tell people, you take a look, and I mean, I'll push them, especially if it's somebody I know pretty good. I'll say, listen, you take a look at that. If it ain't for you, I'll never say another word about it. You follow me, folks? The whole key to this business, people all the time go, Presley, how have you made millions of dollars? It's because I've shown that plan. And the way I did that is I made a list, I started calling people, and I started showing the plan, and showing the plan, and showing the plan, and showing the plan. And I get sick and tired of showing the plan, but you know what I did? I kept showing the plan, and showing the plan, and showing the plan. People all the time go, well, what are they going to think of me? You know, think this through, ladies and gentlemen. Most of those people you're worried about what they think of you, they wouldn't come to your funeral if you died yesterday.
Amen.
Huh?
Amen.
And we're worried about what they're thinking? I mean, who really cares what they think? It ain't like we're trying to sell them products. I mean, we're offering them a chance to change their life. Now, if they don't want to do it, that's fine. But I mean, why are we so worried about what somebody might think of us? You know, guys, we just got to get that out of our head. We got something good. We're offering them something good. Just because they don't want to take it doesn't mean anything. That shouldn't hurt our feelings. I don't know how I got so off my track here. But I guess because I'm talking about action, and I'm telling you, in this business, the action, if you're wanting to make a lot of money, it's show the plan, show the plan, show the plan, show the plan, show the plan. If you're not showing the plan, ladies and gentlemen, you're fooling yourself if you're thinking you're going to make some serious money in this business. You might play with this and make a few $100s. But see, I knew this could be a chance that this old boy could make a lot of money, and I didn't have any other way this old boy could make a lot of money. I don't sing very well. I don't throw a baseball at 100 miles an hour. I mean, I don't have anything that I could do to make a lot of money. Now, maybe you do. If you do, that's great. But I didn't. This was my chance to change my life. I'm challenging you that if you don't have another avenue, to you take this avenue and use what I'm talking to you about, and let's do this thing. If you'll just follow what I'm telling you, this thing works, ladies and gentlemen. We need to make a decision that the buck stops here. We need to make a decision to grow as a person. We need to be a person of action. Number 4, I'm working on this one, but maybe I'll get there one of these days. We need to make a decision to be passionate. You know, it always tickles me, Steve, when I'm talking to people about Stream, and they go, oh, that thing's like a cult. And people all excited, jumping around, and, you know, all happy. And I'm thinking, what, you want to go around and be around a bunch of people that aren't happy? I mean, you know, making money's fun to me, guys. I mean, I don't know about you. I have a lot of fun making money. Because then that money allows me to do all kinds of stuff with my family and my church and all the stuff that I want to do in life. I have fun doing this. And people act like around you that getting focused on something, there's something wrong with that. I would dare say that Bill Gates got focused, don't you think? I would dare say that Michael Dell got focused. I would dare say that most people that are successful in business get focused on what they're doing. Now, I'm not saying that we don't, that we get our priorities all out of order, not at all. For me, this is just for me, but for me, it's the good Lord, family, then business. That's my priorities. And if we get those screwed up, then for me, it messes my life up. So I got to try to keep those in order. But I tell you what, business ain't number 16 behind softball and everything else that we can do in our lives. Business should be 3, because you got to take care of your family. But I'm telling you right now, you got to get excited about this business if you want it to happen. People don't want to be around an old toad frog with their tongue sticking out. Huh? I mean, they don't want to be around people like that. They want to be around somebody that's going somewhere that's excited about what they're doing. I challenge you to get passionate about your business. So number 4 was make a decision to be passionate. And my last point,
So, number one was make a decision that the buck stops here. 2, make a decision to grow as a person. Make a decision, number 3, to be a person of action. Number 4, make a decision to be passionate. And number 5, make a decision to never quit. You know, I read a story the other day about the gold strike in California. This was years ago. But a guy went and got a claim down there in California when the gold rush was hitting. And he bought his claim and he got in there and he started digging. And I mean, he dug 2-3 years just digging like crazy. And he found a few nuggets, but never anything big. And he finally just said, "Oh, screw this, I'm out of here." And he went and sold his claim in California. Guy bought that claim from him. That guy goes in. He thought, "Oh, what the heck, I'll just start digging where this guy was. He's got it set up. I'll just start digging right here." That guy dug 3 feet and hit the biggest gold find that they did in the entire California gold rush. That man was 3 feet from all his dreams, and he quit. Reason I say that is you don't know what's going to go on when you're doing this business. Steve will talk about it, but I signed up a guy named Mark Dean. He sold my daughter a car. Sarah Beth called me up there to take a look at it. I met Mark. I said, "Hey, you keep your options open for making income if it doesn't affect what you're doing now?" And he said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." Took him to lunch. He signs up. Dino doesn't look like much, does he, Steve? I mean, he's just an average looking dude, just selling cars. Next thing I know, Dino gets in, and he gets a guy named Mark Flores in, and then we're driving around showing people. Make a long story short, Mark Dean has put 100,000 associates on my team. One person put 100,000 associates on my team. My point is, you don't know if it's the next person you're going to talk to or not. That may be that 3 feet away. This lady right here might be the one that does it. I'm 3 feet from her, but I quit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm challenging you not to quit. Now, here's my final thoughts on this whole deal here. We've got a chance to do something real special, but it's going to take you doing it. You got to understand that this isn't winning the lottery. I've given you 5 keys, and I believe if you'll follow those 5 keys, you can be successful here. Now, it may be the first person you talk to after tonight's meeting, or it may be the 10th person or the 20th person. I don't know where that person's going to fall, but there's good ones out there. You just got to keep up till you find yours. That's really what it boils down to. And as we talked about in the meeting yesterday, don't wait for that stud or studette. You be the stud or studette. You follow me, guys? If you really want to change your life, then let's do it. If you're not, then you just understand you're just giving it lip service, because if we keep doing what we're doing, nothing's going to change in our lives. And you know, I got people looking at me right now that I can tell you look at me like I'm a nut. But I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you ask my wife, she'd probably agree with you that I am a nut. But I'll say this, because I was willing to follow those 5 steps that I just gave y'all. I'm a rich nut. And I tell you what, it's pretty fun being a rich nut. I would highly recommend you doing that. But it's going to take some work on your part. Here's my deal. Why don't we make a decision tonight that we're going to draw a line in the sand, and that we're going to stand in the gap for our families, that we're going to leave a legacy that our kids and grandkids can follow. See, I'm going to ask everybody in here, and don't raise your hands, but what kind of legacy are you leaving? Are you leaving a "I'm making excuses" legacy? Or are you leaving a legacy that you can be proud of, that's showing your kids and grandkids that somebody with their last name can do something special? I'm telling you right now, everybody in this room, you got greatness inside you. Don't go to that grave with that greatness in there, ladies and gentlemen. Make a decision tonight that you're going to change your life, and let's get our butt in gear and let's make it happen. I believe with all my heart, there's going to be 2 groups of us in this room. There's going to be the group that's glad they did, and there's going to be the group that wishes they had, because it'll happen with or without you. I challenge you to be part of this. We'll have some fun doing it, but we have a chance to make a whole lot of money. Let's make it happen, guys. Thank you.